What's going on, everybody? This is Shah here to the Rebel Society. This is another episode of The Process. It's 2018. It seems like everybody wants to be a personal brand, including myself, which I really don't want to, but it's part of what I need to do to really thrive and make the moves I want to make. So, since everybody wants to be a personal brand, just thought I'd give a couple tips on being able to do that the best way possible. Number one will have to be just put out content. If you are trying to be somebody in media, you need to put out stuff that you've done, put out stuff on yourself. If you're trying to be a creative and make a personal brand for yourself as a creative, then you need to put out some work that you shot or work that you've done, but as well as photos of yourself. So the reason I say put out content is because content is really changing the way that we all can really make money. In the world we live in 2018, this is a heavy content world. Pretty much all different platforms are putting out content. So if you're trying to grow as a personal brand, then that's really just the bare basics. That's something that you have to do. But that could really be, writing, that could be audio, that could be visuals. So those are the three ways that people, or the types of content that people put out. So you really need to try to stick with one of those to try to figure out which one works best for you. And then once you do that, go ahead and attack it. Once you start putting out content, it's always important or imperative to show people or let people know exactly what you do. For the longest time, people thought I was just a photographer, and then they thought I was a web guy, then they thought I did graphics, then they thought I did some social media stuff. But in all actuality, I do it all. But what I actually had to do is really start putting out content to show people this is what I do. Shah Harris is a digital media marketing specialist. That's what I do. So I do a little bit of that, but overall, I do digital media. So I got to show people that. Sometimes you can tell people that, and they still think you do something else. So you have to put out work that kind of translates to that, as well as sometimes you just got to put it in the caption. Shout out to Nita J. I did one of her workshops last year. One of the things she told me to do is just put out a post, make it a picture of yourself, and then the caption, just put like a little quick origin story of yourself. It could be about how you got started when you went to high school, when you went to college, stuff you learned along the way, people you work with, projects that you worked on, but make it very personal. So I feel like everybody should do that, and that allows people to see your journey, how you got to where you're at now, and people see your personality, which is actually number 3, is show your personality, show your interests. People care about that. Once people know that you're somebody that they can go out and have a beer with, have a drink with, they're gonna rock with you a little bit more. Being personable, you don't want to be this cold image of a human being, and you not show that, hey, I'm just like you. Like, I just like to do some of the same stuff that you do. I like to joke around. I like to hang out with my friends. I like to go out, have a good time. I like to, hang with my wife, stuff like that. So you need to show some of that in your content when you're on social. Number 4 is what I would have to say is be transparent. A lot of people are very closed off and they don't want to share like the ups and downs of whatever they're going through. But as an entrepreneur, as somebody who's actually trying to make a living as a personal brand, you need to be a little bit transparent. You probably don't want to show everything, whatever you're comfortable with, but you need to let people in a little bit. I've done this a couple times where I just not necessarily vent, but just share my frustrations or things I've went through where I didn't have money coming in, or I was just completely confused about life. Sometimes it's good to just write that down into a caption or put it in a video like this and just really let people know this stuff ain't always going to be great. Life isn't going to always be great. It's going to throw you curveballs, and then that's going to allow you to relate, or other people to relate to your story as well as yourself. The last thing would be, as a personal brand, try to develop some type of content strategy. You don't want to just keep putting out a whole bunch of different stuff. In my previous video, I said, put out a lot of different stuff, but then sooner or later you got to narrow it down and find out what works and what doesn't work. So I'll throw a little card up here so you can check that out. But once you find out what works, it might be a picture of, content of you and your family. It might be a picture of your dog, the food that you eat, just everyday life. It might be work that you're working on. It could be stuff of you talking. But sooner or later, you have to find out what works. And once you find out what works, find the 4 or 5 things that you kind of want to stick with, or that you see works more, and just post those things. Like with me on my page, if you go there, you're only going to see a quote cards that I designed. You're going to see work that I've done, not too much work. You're going to see videos like this. You're going to see a clip of my podcast, and then you're going to see photos of myself. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I'm going to show you. So the people that come to my page, they know exactly what they're going to see. Some people do things. I'm not really big into like doing design things on social media or Instagram. But when you go to my page, you know exactly what you're going to see. Even if you go to my personal Facebook page, you're going to see random questions that I post. You're going to see photos. That's usually where I share some of my friends' stuff. And that's pretty much it. I don't try to stick to anything outside the norm, because when you do that, people don't rock with it, so there's not really no purpose in you doing it. Side note, Instagram stories is where you can do all the stuff that you really would normally post, and you can just throw it there because it's only going to be there for 24 hours. So you can post your food pics, your dog pics, you joking around with your friends, pretty much everything else you want. I just throw that directly in the stories, just so it doesn't mess up your timeline, your feed, all that good stuff. Alright, so that's it for all the tips I have on how to grow your personal brand on social media. Make sure you subscribe to the video if you haven't done so already. Make sure you go to my Instagram page. Make sure you like that. Trying to get my followers up. Try to get my subscribers up. I need your help. I need your help, guys. Please help me out. So, yeah, make sure you go do that. Make sure you share it with a friend. If you know somebody that's trying to grow their personal brand, go share this video with them. I would deeply appreciate it. But that's it. Shot Harris of the Rebel Society. This is the process. And